folks. Tonight I'm at the house in the garage with Ursula, and I've been pretty busy messing with this thing on and off whenever I can find the time to do it. Right now I got the manifold ripped off, and I already videoed a little bit of that after I got it off. But what I've done since then is I welded on the wastegate flange. The V-band flange that the wastegate goes to is larger. This is a 44 millimeter wastegate, an upgrade over the 38 millimeter that we had on it previously. So I had to chop off the old flange, weld it on a new flange here, and then our dump pipe, our dump tube. This is our old tube was sized for the 38 millimeter, so it was a little too small. So I got this. This was just a 1.75 inch diameter pipe that I got off of Amazon for like 22 bucks, stainless, and I just put a cut in it about halfway through the bend and welded the other end of the flange onto that, the flanges that are provided with the wastegate. So that was a really nice fit. I got it kind of sized up right now with the downpipe that we made for the car last year, and everything fits really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the car back together, get the header on and then the downpipe and all that attached. I also have to figure out my oil feed for the turbo, because the other day when I was working on it, this thing cracked and broke. And I'm okay with that because this was straight and it had like a hard bend going on the top of it, whereas our new one has a nice little 90 on it. So that should be a big improvement for the way that it looks and how aesthetic it is and such. So that's what I got going on right now. I've really had my hands full with a lot of extra stuff right now besides just the race cars, so I've been kind of having a hard time keeping up getting videos coming. Of course, you know, I'm always thinking about the race cars. I'm always working on the race cars. You know, me and Matt put in some time last weekend with the Z, trying to get it ready for IFO. IFO's less than 2 weeks now. So I'm trying to do as much as I can with this car during the week so that hopefully we can get some time testing at the track for it this weekend. So today's Monday, and with a little luck, me and Matt are going to be taking this thing out to the track Saturday or Friday. I'm not sure which. But I've actually quit my job at Quit Car, and that's a lot of what's been going on in my life too, is just the transition here. So I got a new job that I'm starting next week. I'm still at Quit Car till the end of this week. So I've been having to move a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys have seen how many transmissions we have at the old shop, and I had a short block for an L28 and just tons and tons of crap that I've accrued. I was at Quit Car for 11 years, so there's a whole mess of stuff that I've just had to be moving. So I've kind of had a lot going on, and yeah, so that's where we're at right now. The shop I'm going to is going to be really cool. It's a pretty exciting endeavor for me. There'll be more on that later. I got a whole probation period I got to work through. I just want to make sure it's a good fit before I start airing it out there. But it is some exciting developments that's going to help me in my career. So that's coming up soon too. Definitely going to be able to learn a lot more about what I love doing, which is working on fun stuff that we can improve, stuff that we can modify and make fast. So it is a move in a performance direction, but more on that to come later for sure. As of right now, I'm going to start working on getting this little mess of pipes back in the engine bay here on Ursula, and try to get this thing buttoned up this week. So I got these vinyl gloves. I'm not sure I can't remember where I got them. Like Home Depot or something. They're kind of weird looking. They're like lunch lady looking, right? But they work really good, and they're not stretchy, but they're pretty tough. So I'm wearing these because our turbo blanket, this guy right here, that thing just leaves fiberglass all over the place. So when I'm handling our exhaust here, I made the mistake of not wearing any gloves last time, and it was just absolutely itching the hell out of me. But we did take the turbo out on the pipe. It's real difficult to remove the turbine housing from the header you basically have to take the center section off of the turbo, and I didn't want to do all that. So I did pull the turbo out with it, but the downpipe comes off of it before I install it. Also, I had to take a couple of the exhaust studs off to try to get the header out of there. The header is just a real tight fit in here up against the body. I might try to clearance that just a little bit because or actually right here, because man, it was just so close to just going right in and out. I bet I could bop that with a hammer 2 or 3 times and be able to get this header in way easier. I might do that. Also got the shop fan, the old swamp cooler fan in the garage. These things are so sweet. Got that thing on Amazon. I think it was like 250 bucks, something like that. But it feels fantastic. Got to get you one of those for the home garage for sure. So So we got all the header bolts installed and tightened down. Got our oil return bolted up. That is my custom-made oil return. Fits neatly around the number 1 runner there, just slightly. Barely leaves enough room for the compressor. Pretty proud of that little guy. That thing's been clutch. Doesn't leak a drop either. Unlike this god dang oil feed that leaks no matter what the hell we do. But yeah, so next step, I need to figure out if I can get our downpipe and our dump tube to fit in this thing. And for that, I'm gonna have to get underneath the car. So I don't think I showed this earlier. I got done just TIG welding this up tonight. This was that 45-degree stainless pipe, and the welding went okay. Not bad. It still gets a real gray color to it on the weld. I've been told that's because I put too much heat into it. And then it gets kind of blobby there on that. I burned a little hole right there in that little mountain that I had to fill. You can tell I got a little hot there because the weld kind of lays flat. And it gets real like granular, like it's all the contaminants come up. So I probably was just a little hot on it. But that's 3/16 filler rod. Actually, 3/16 is the size also. And I'm not too disappointed with that. Looks pretty good. It'll get the job done. All right, so we got the wastegate and the dump installed. And look how good that looks, baby. Beautiful. So I'm pretty happy with how that all turned out. We're done there. We got our hose routed, tucked to the side, and now let's get out of here. There's a lot of fiberglass down here. So we got some pretty good work done here tonight. We got the dump pipes installed. We got the turbo blanket on, that itchy little bastard. I got the charge pipe pre-installed. And wastegate has vacuum, wideband's plugged in. So with that out of the way, all I have left to do is replace this oil delivery line. And I think I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. This was all kind of a huge bitch. Well, this place looks strange. Look how dark the floors are. That's because this is Matt's new shop. I came to see Matt at his new place. And this place is horrendous. Look at this mess.
Hey man, we're working on it, okay?
It's coming along.
It's coming along.
He says it was worse. There's a freaking tailgate in here.
That's going on a car. It just got here like
hockey
9 years
sticks.
ago.
Hold on. There's more shaming to do. I really just came over here to drop off the L28 short block that we picked up from Oklahoma a couple weeks ago.
And apparently just talk a bunch of shit a couple weeks ago, a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But anyone interested in an L28 ET short block full assembly, hit us up because it's got to go.
And you know how fast these motherfuckers can go.
You know what they do, baby. All right, so job done, baby. We got the wastegate on back there somewhere. This is where you can't see it. We got dump pipe, downpipe, oil line routed. I got a little 90 on top of this one, so that is much tidier. Really just want to kind of put a couple of supportive zip ties over here just to keep everything in place, keep our power steering hose from rubbing the throttle cable, just kind of keep things clear of each other. Oil line was a huge pain on this thing. Anyone with a 2JZ with air conditioning and a front-facing intake manifold can tell you how anything on this side of the engine is just a complete nightmare. But was able to get to it without having to remove a whole bunch of crap, just with my nimble little China hands. Yeah, so it's job done. So we're gonna get the front bumper put on it, tidy up just a couple little things, and then tomorrow, once we have daylight, I'm going to take this thing for a rip. The wastegate should, so I'm pretty sure our little regulator here is turned all the way down, and it is. Wait. Huh, well, it's not. Oh, that's right, we had to turn it up a whole bunch of the track. Ooh, I'm glad I checked that. We had to turn that up a whole bunch of the track when we were running the 10-pound spring with the small wastegate. But now, this wastegate should be around 14 or 15 PSI spring, which will equate to probably around 12 or 14 PSI, and just depending, I guess. But we'll see what it'll do, find out how we did. Hopefully we took care of the boost creep problem. All right, so the Lexus is back together, and I am taking her on her maiden voyage with the the bigger wastegate. Gonna get a data log and see how it acts. All right, well, it felt kind of soft on power, but no definitely feels down on power. Now this wastegate should be around 14, 15 PSI as advertised, but with a bigger gate that's more effective, it's gonna open faster, it's gonna flow more out of it. So it's not unusual to make less than spring. But the important thing is we can always increase that number. The important thing is that we're not going straight into boost cut, which is what was happening before. Everything feels great. I'm super pumped, baby! Yeah! Let's give it a rip real quick. I got a data log. I don't know what kind of boost we're making. We'll have to check on the data log and see. Well, we're heading back to the house, and I'm freaking happy. We freaking killed it. I need to work on the two-step too. Incorporating the two-step into the trans brake. That's too low. I need to raise that number up for sure. All right, go. Job's a good one. So the data log from our drive, the highest boost we saw was 12.7 PSI, which is basically nothing. It's a 15-pound gate. I expect it to be a little bit under that, especially with the oversized gate on it now. But this is great news. That means we can start turning it up with the controller and still be in total control of the amount of power that the car makes. Greetings, folks. Right now, I am just leaving work for the last time. My last day at Quick Car was today. It's Friday night. And naturally, I'm meeting up with Matt, my dude, so we can go and put Ursula through the paces. So what we're doing tonight is this is kind of a logistics game here. I have to go to Frisco, get the trailer with the Z on it, drive them both to my house where the Lexus is, switch cars, leave the Z at my house so we can take the Lexus out to Motorplex. They have some competition going on tonight, but they're going to be running test and tune at the same time. So we need to get Ursula dialed because she's only making about 12.5 pounds of boost right now on the larger wastegate, on wastegate spring. So we're going to have to use our regulator to really try to get that up a lot. I'm a little worried at how accurately the little crappy boost regulator can add 9 or 10 pounds of boost from here. Like I'm not really sure how well that's going to go, but we need to add as much as we can. I think they're only running 8th mile. Doesn't really matter. If we're doing 8th mile, we know we need to be targeting around a 7.2, 7.3 ideally. If we are doing quarter mile, then we want to be close to an 11.5 or 11.4 really. But hell, if they're running quarter mile and we get to make a couple of passes, if it's not super packed or they're not just screwing the test and tune guys around all night, then I wouldn't mind turning this thing up, trying to go back to the 21 PSI that we were running with the smaller intercooler and see if this thing will squeeze out a 10 for us, just for the number. This is the only track that's doing anything this weekend as far as test and tune, show up and run your shit. So we're gonna go out there. Matt's supposed to be meeting up with me at some point here along the trek, and we will see you guys at Texas Motorplex here in just a little bit.
We got a little curve right here. We hit 18.
Like it touched 18. Where did it like flatten out?
We were still going up a little bit when you stopped. We were hitting 18.
Okay. All right, folks, we are here at Motorplex now. We paid a premium to get in here and do test and tune, but we got hit with hella traffic on the way out here. So it's already 9:40. We're just pulling up, and they charged us $20 a head to get in, plus $30 for a tech card. I've never paid this much for test and tune before, but crossing our fingers, we're gonna get more bang for our buck and get to make several passes here as needed. Car was running about 17, 18 PSI around my neighborhood, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a couple more clicks. But also we're gonna be trying, we're gonna be using two-step now. We were figuring out once things would warm up, and with the nitrous on the trans brake, RPMs would push up pretty high, a little higher than I'm comfortable with. And it just kind of felt like it was kind of blowing through the converter, and the RPMs would kind of like come up and down. So we're gonna use the two-step to try to maintain the RPMs. We're not going for big flash bangs here. We don't really need turbo spool so much at this point. We just want to limit the RPM so we can get a consistent launch, and that's what we're aiming to do tonight. So I'm going to, as soon as the car's warmed up, I'm going to put it up on the brake with two-step, and we're going to see how it acts. I've never used two-step with nitrous. Some guys are really scared to do that, including me. Not because I know that something's going to go wrong, just because I feel like it might promote some sort of nitrous backfire. I don't know if there's any reality to that at all, but I've definitely seen some stuff online that people suggest not doing that or not hitting rev limiter while the nitrous is flowing. So it's kind of uncharted territory, but we're going to give it a shot and see if we can get this thing dialed and making some consistent passes tonight.
Rough night.
Well, that kind of sucked. So we got here later than we planned to, and they stopped doing test and tune by 10:30.
We weren't even here till like after 9.
I messaged the track before we came out because I just had a feeling that they were going to do this shit. Messaged the track, never got any response. Contacted a guy I know who works here who's like, yeah, who told me they'd be running test and tune until close, or he thought so anyway. And they did not. They stopped it at 10:30. We were here for less than an hour, got one pass, and we paid a premium to be here too. Minus Matt, $50 for test and tune, which is more than I've ever paid anywhere before. Thinking like, okay, well maybe we'll get more passes. Like they're weeding out, some of the other people that they don't want here or whatever. Not the case. Totally just got us again, man. We've dumped more money into this place for passes that we just never even got a chance to make. It's not even funny. But that's not where it all ends. I mean, the pass was kind of sloppy. We ran a personal best mile an hour of 97.4 in the 8th mile. So
which bodes well for us in the quarter next weekend.
That's pretty big. The Z's never ran that fast of an 8th mile speed. So we made some jam. We made some jam. The car made some good boost. It was running too lean the whole pass. Hopefully nothing's hurt. It felt like I hit rev limiter at the top of 3rd, but it was just lean. I think it was just breaking up because it was so lean. It was bad. But we really didn't knock it all, so hopefully everything survived. But now, on that note, the car won't start. It's just cranking. The coolant temp's reading real high, so I think my cranking settings are just kind of off. Well, anyway, we're letting the car cool down a little bit so we can get it started up. I'm sure it'll start once it cools.
Until then, we're just hanging out.
And that's it. So we drove all the way out here for this. We're going to get home early, which is nice for Matt, because he works tomorrow.
Kind of early. I mean, it's already 11 something.
But I don't work tomorrow, so, that's pretty cool. Well, that's it.
That's it.
See you next week.